What's up everyone? Welcome back here to the Megan Moose channel. Thanks so much for tuning into today's video. Guys, I have been doing a ton of park vlogs, park videos, adventure vlogs recently. It's been a long time since I have just sat down and done a video where I'm just talking to you guys, and I've been wanting to make this video for a little while now. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing my first impressions of the Universal theme park that is here in Orlando. So let's go ahead and get on into it. So as we get started here, we're going to give a little bit of a background into how I started going to Universal. Of course, as you probably know, if you have tuned into my channel before, you know that I am a huge Disney fan. I am currently a Disney Annual Pass holder, and about a month ago, I made the decision to become a Universal Annual Pass holder as well. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, why did you want to become another annual pass holder to another theme park? And that was my same thinking at the time. Also, I was a little bit hesitant to become a Universal Annual Pass holder as well, since I already am a Disney World Annual Pass holder. But the whole reason mainly why I decided to become a pass holder is because I was going to end up having some friends coming down to visit at the end of this month, March, and they had told me that they wanted to go to Universal, and so I was trying to look into just some ticket deals that they were having at the time. They had a 4-day ticket pass, but then I started looking into the annual passes a little bit more, and just seemed to make sense to go with the annual pass, and I went with the preferred annual pass, which includes free parking. It has no blockout dates, which is really nice because my Disney Annual Pass has some blockout dates, so that gives me a little bit more flexibility there to be able to go visit that park when I can't go to Disney. Another huge perk about the annual pass that I purchased was, at the time of this video, Universal was running a deal where if you purchased an annual pass, you also got a free 3 bonus months for your pass. So instead of just having it for 12 months for a year, you actually have it for 15 months. So I get an extra 3 months on the pass. So I thought I might as well just go ahead and get the pass, and I am actually very glad that I did. So like I said, I was a little bit hesitant to get the pass at first because I honestly didn't know if I enjoyed Universal as much as I did Disney. I was just such a huge Disney fan, and to be honest, I didn't know how much I was going to actually go to Universal or how much I was going to actually enjoy Universal. Before actually getting my annual pass, I had only been able to visit the Islands of Adventure park at Universal once before, and that was for a work event that I had gone to. It was actually really fun. I work at the Kennedy Space Center, and for one evening, they blocked out the Islands of Adventure park at Universal for 4 hours. It was from 8 p.m. to midnight. It was all just Space Center workers and their family, and so it was really fun. I was able to get tickets for me and my boyfriend. We went and hung out there for the evening, and it was really fun. I did enjoy it, but I didn't think that I was going to enjoy it as much as Disney, or I didn't think I did enjoy it as much as Disney. And if I'm being honest, it's mainly because of the rides, but let's get into that a little bit. So now we'll go ahead and get on into my first impressions of Universal. Like I said, I have been to the Islands of Adventure park, and if you aren't really familiar with Universal down here in Orlando, they have 2 theme parks. They have 3. They consider their water park a theme park, but they have two main theme parks. They have Universal Studios and the Islands of Adventure park. So the day that I actually went to go and get my annual pass at Universal was the first day that I had visited Universal Studios. And if we're being honest, again, the main reason why I didn't think that I was going to enjoy Universal as much was mainly because of the rides. And it's because at the time I was a huge chicken when it came to roller coasters or any kind of rides that had a lot of the 4D or 3D things, which is mainly all of what Universal rides are. So even whenever I went for that work event a couple of years ago, I really didn't ride all of the rides at Universal. I did the Hagrid's ride, I did a couple of the other rides, but I didn't do a lot of the main coasters like the Hulk and all of those other fun rides that are at Universal because I was a huge chicken and I wasn't ready to overcome my fear of rides like that. But now that I'm an annual pass holder and I was going to end up going with the friends at the park, that the main reason why I decided to get the pass, I knew I had to overcome my fear because they're probably going to want to be riding the rides, and I had to get over my fear so that way I could ride it with them. But it was really cool the first time I walked into the Universal Studios park because I was able to see the Minions ride. It had the Minions house, or Gru's house. That was really neat to see in person. It was cool to see the Transformer that they have for the Transformers ride. So as far as my first impressions go, I definitely thought Universal looked like a really neat park, but I was just a little bit nervous to overcome my fear of most of their rides. Another reason why I was afraid of the rides was because a lot of them are the 3D kind of rides, and I was really concerned about being motion sick, and they have a lot of warnings talking about getting motion sick on the rides or experiencing motion sickness. And so I was just really super nervous about that and really anxious about not going on the rides because I didn't want to experience any of that. But the first day I went, I kind of had to hop all into it because I was with a couple of friends and they were wanting to ride the rides, and I knew I had to overcome my fear anyway, and I didn't want to chicken out again. I wasn't going to let myself. But I think it's kind of important to talk about the perspective or the background that I have in theme parks whenever we talk about my first time going to Universal. When we think about the rides that I have done or become used to, they are mainly Disney rides, which are rides that you're able to kind of get on. You can kind of sit there and just relax and just enjoy the ride. You know what I mean? You can just sit there and look around. You can see Peter Pan, or you're on the Haunted Mansion. Even some of their coasters are fun, but there's nothing super intense. And so really when I was going into Universal, I was just thinking about all of the Disney rides and how you can just sit back and relax, and you don't really have to worry about anything jumping out at you or getting thrown all around on a roller coaster. And so that's why I kind of had to step out of my comfort zone and get used to a new caliber of rides. But there were a couple of Universal rides that I was very nervous to try at first. For some reason, the King Kong ride was one that I was super nervous about, and I will be honest, whenever I go into a new theme park or whenever I go into trying a new ride, for the most part, I usually am a wimp and I Google or YouTube the whole ride through of the video, so that way I know what to expect throughout the ride. And I know what some of you guys are thinking, that's no fun, you're spoiling the surprise for some of the rides. But when it came to me going to Universal and trying out some of the rides that they had, I knew I had to do that because, like I said, I was nervous about the roller coaster type rides, the 3D stuff. I don't like all of the stuff that jumps out at me. And so I really had to go and watch some of the YouTube videos ahead of time to know what I was getting myself into. And so whenever I saw the King Kong ride, I was just not thrilled with all that goes on that ride. I was just a little bit nervous about it and scared, but luckily, that when I chose to ride that ride was when I had my sister in town, and she is a daredevil. She'll do any type of ride, so she made me go on it, which I was glad because I was able to get over my fear of the ride, and it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I was still nervous about it. But all that's to say that I have been able to overcome my fear of some of these rides that I've been talking about, and I think it's been really good for me because I think I had told myself for so long that I wasn't going to be able to do most of these rides, that I was always going to be afraid of them, but just pushing myself out of my comfort zone and learning to like and to experience these new rides has helped me to get a different perspective and kind of go out of my comfort zone when trying rides and new things that I haven't necessarily done before. So I'm actually really happy that through getting my annual pass to Universal, I've been able to step out of my comfort zone and actually learn to enjoy some of these roller coasters that I haven't necessarily ridden before. And so when it comes to my first impressions, I have really surprised myself with the way that I actually do really enjoy Universal. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as Disney, and I think that when I think about the two parks and which one's my favorite, I can't necessarily pick a favorite. I still love Disney for the nostalgia of all of the rides and the movies behind the rides, but when it comes to the thrill type of the rides or just what rides I like more in general, I think I actually have to go with, surprisingly, Universal. I think they do a great job of all of the details of their park. You know, I love all of the little hidden details and things that they have at Disney, and Universal does just as well of a job at decorating the attractions for their parks. And I think the one part that I was super impressed with had to be all of the Harry Potter world stuff that they have at Universal. So before becoming an annual pass holder, I addressed this in an Instagram post a little while back, but I had only seen the very first and the very last Harry Potter movie. We as kids just did not grow up liking the movies or reading the books at all, but after going to Universal and seeing how awesome the Harry Potter world was, I knew there was something I was missing out on, and I knew that I had to check out the movies so that way I could get a better perspective and an appreciation for how well they really did at designing and detailing the Harry Potter parts of the park. And so I've actually done a few movie marathon weekends, and I've been able to watch most of the Harry Potter movies besides the last two, so no spoilers here in the comments, but becoming a Universal Annual Pass holder has encouraged me to also look into the Harry Potter movies, and I really just love how they've done a great job at capturing all of the details of the movies, and especially the rides. I really enjoyed the Harry Potter ride. Of course, the Hagrid's ride is really fun, but the Escape from Gringotts ride is actually probably one of my favorite rides that they have at Universal right now. Another thing that I really like about Universal is that both of their parks are connected. So when you first go to Universal, you're going to park in a parking garage, and then once you come out, you get spit out into City Walk, which is their equivalent of Disney Springs. But it's really nice because you have Universal Studios on one side, and then you have Islands of Adventure on the other side, and it's just about a 10-minute walk between both of the parks. And it's actually super convenient because if you want to park hop, it's a lot easier than it is necessarily at Disney. Of course, it's still fun to do some park hopping at Disney World, but it's a lot more convenient when you're at Universal because you're able to just step out of the park, or they have the Hogwarts Express train that can take you to and from the parks. So one of my favorite parts of Universal is just how close both of the parks are, and I think if you have that park hopper pass, you really can make the most of your day and make the most of experiencing both of the parks with that. So I think all that to say, I know there was a lot of rambling in that, but all of that to say, my first impressions of Universal are definitely positive, even though I thought differently going into it. I thought that I'd get the annual pass, I'd have it as just a good deal for going with my friends and just getting the most out of it, and maybe going occasionally to do some live videos on YouTube or just to go hang out with some other friends that have the pass. But it's really surprised me how much I enjoy Universal, how much I love the attractions, how much the rides are, how fun they are. And so it's really surprised me, and it's definitely surprised me personally in how much I enjoy the rides. And if anything, it's helped me to step out of my comfort zone and become a little bit more comfortable with a new caliber of rides. But here's the thing, guys. If a couple years ago you came and told me that I was going to be moving to Florida, and in doing that, I was going to become a huge theme park junkie and I would have 2 annual passes to some major theme parks here in Orlando, I definitely would not believe you at all. And so this new theme park obsession of mine is definitely caught me off guard, but it's something that I am super happy about and definitely am loving a lot. And so I look forward to future adventures that I have at the parks and continue going and visiting them any chance that I get. So thanks so much for watching this video today, guys. I just wanted to come on here and tell you a little bit about my first impressions of Universal since I became an annual pass holder, and I love getting to go and share the parks with you guys. I've gotten a lot of comments about people that haven't necessarily been to Universal. They've been to Disney, but they haven't been able to check out Universal before. So I love getting to share the parks with you, show you what I get to experience there, but also things that you could experience if you get to go check it out. So thanks so much for tuning into this video today, guys. If you liked what you saw today, consider subscribing for more theme park content, and we will see you on the next vlog. See you guys. Really? This is really what the ring light's gonna make me look like right now? A bug? Wanted to wear my new glasses for this video, but guess we're gonna have to do it blind.